Psychological construct is a construct of data, and data, the very basis of data is you need minimum of 2 bits. You need relativity. Data is built upon relativity. It like black and white, or in the computers there is 0 and 1. So you have to come up with one difference, and using that difference you can then proliferate it and make it a whole world of construct of data. So your psychological framework is also a framework of data, and this framework of data is fundamentally rooted in 2 bits. That the 2 most general categories of your psychological space is me and not me. Whatever you try to do, finally it will come to these 2. You can do many categorizations to begin with, but ultimately these 2 categories will remain, which you cannot merge anymore in your psychological content. So there is me, and there is something which is not me. And these 2 can exist only in contrast, only as a cluster. They have no independent existence. Black has no independent existence without white. White cannot be talked of without black. They are always necessarily a cluster. See, because it is a relativity implies a cluster of 2 entities, even your psychological construct, even the construct of data, you cannot definitively tell whether it is 1 or 2. You cannot. See, I can tell it is one cluster, but there are 2 things, white and black. You can say, no, there are 2, but they are one cluster. You cannot definitively tell, even with respect to your psychological construct. It is just I'm not even talking of the ultimate truth. Psychological construct itself is relativity, and therefore that itself you cannot speak. You cannot say affirmatively it is 1 or 2. Even the root of your psychological construct is rooted in a paradox. Do you see this? So even with respect to your mind, you cannot say it is 1 or it is 2. If you say 1, you can make a counter argument. If you say 2, you can make a counter argument. It's paradoxical. Logically, you cannot talk of it definitively. It is 1 or 2, 1 or many, basically. Intellect. It doesn't matter whose intellect. I'm talking of intellect. Intellect will fail to describe what precedes it. It cannot. Whatever it tries, it can try, but whatever it does, it will only lead to paradox. Intellect cannot even explain itself, as I pointed out. It cannot tell whether intellect is 2 or 1 bit, 2 bits or 1 cluster. It cannot tell. Intellect cannot even decisively tell about itself. So when an intellect tries to talk about something that precedes it, you can make attempts. At the most, you can make exclamations and associate words to it. So when something comes into your experience which precedes the intellect, which incents the intellect, people may exclaim something. They may say it is absolute. They may say it is awareness. They may say it is God, something. But you see, it is only an exclamation. Intellect actually cannot grasp it. Look at the word absolute itself. Just now I pointed out to you that the intellect cannot even understand what is relativity. Whether it is 1 or 2, it cannot. How do you think the intellect will understand the word absolute? It can't. It actually can't. It is a dummy word everybody is repeating. There are many words like that. Continuum is something intellect cannot understand because intellect is necessarily discrete. We use this word so casually, continuous. It is continuous. It is absolute. But strictly speaking, this word intellect cannot capture. We are telling this word, it's a dummy word. We are not meaning anything by it. It cannot really point out to anything real in your experience. The words like absolute, many words. You don't even have to go to awareness and God and those things. These words, intellect cannot capture. It can say, I am theoretically telling it, I am conceptually telling it. What I am pointing out is you cannot theoretically also say it because your intellect itself is rooted in bits. It is discrete. It cannot understand continuous. What is continuous, it cannot understand. So these words we use like continuous or absolute actually don't relate to anything which is in our experience. And therefore, it can necessarily not definitively describe. It can exclaim something when you come to experience it. You can exclaim. Exclamation can happen, but it cannot explain. Whatever it tries to do, it will lead to paradoxes. Okay, this you understand? I'm not talking of my intellect, your intellect. I'm talking of the intellect itself. Why I am telling this is, it does not exclude Krishna's intellect. It does not exclude anybody's intellect.